We do have so much to talk about with this whole Nick Saban, Bill Belichick thing. Tell me if you guys agree with the following. Casey, I'll start with you. Of the three guys that stepped away yesterday, all Hall of Famers.
Yep.
All three. Pete Carroll, Nick Saban, and Bill Belichick. To me, it sounded like two of the three still want to coach. The only one I didn't get that feeling was about Saban. But I think Pete Carroll, even though they said he's going to be a consultant, I think if somebody came after Carroll to coach, he would still coach. It's a feeling I got just watching him in the press conference. And certainly Belichick wants to still coach.
Right.
You agree with that?
I agree with that.
Okay. So if you agree with that, Rita said that 28 of the 32 teams in the NFL ought to be looking at a guy like Bill Belichick. Does Pete Carroll fit into that bill?
Ooh, that's a good question. Pete Carroll, I don't think he fits. 28 out of the 32 teams, I think, is a bit of a stretch. There's eight head coaching vacancies so far. 25% of the league is looking for a new head coach. That's Seattle, so you got to take that out of the equation. Patriots, Commanders, Falcons, Titans, Raiders, Panthers, Chargers. And out of those teams, I think maybe the Falcons and maybe the Raiders, Panthers, Chargers maybe, Commanders. Like, those are the teams I think would want Pete Carroll. I think all the teams should look at Bill Belichick. Maybe not the Titans because they just let go of Mike Vrabel, and that's more of the Patriot way. So, yeah, I think Pete Carroll should be sought after, but I don't think he's the long-term solution for any team because both those guys are past their prime. They're, I think they've, I wouldn't say lost a step, but they are certainly not with the new age of the NFL. And I think that's very clear with just how the seasons have turned out for both teams.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. It's interesting you bring that up because we only have a few minutes before Vach is going to join us, so we can get into all of this after he's with us. But you just said something to me that I was thinking about as all this was unfolding last night and then this morning. When we talk about new age of the NFL, and I think Brian Billick sort of hit on this a little bit in our visit with him 2 days ago. And he made the tongue-in-cheek reference, if you ever had lunch with Sean McVay, well, you're the guy that everybody wants to hire, right?
Right.
And so when I look at the new age of head coaches in the National Football League, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, you could have the Zach Taylors. You could have the Brandon Staley's, right?
Right.
And we could go on and on and on and on and on, right? The Josh McDaniels. You know, all these uber smart, creative, blah, 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 right? Mm-hmm. Are any of those guys out there better than Pete Carroll? Are any of those guys out there better than Bill Belichick? Is Mike McDaniels? Would you rather have tomorrow getting your team ready for a playoff game? Pete Carroll or Mike McDaniels? Would you rather have tomorrow Pete Carroll or Brandon Staley? Would you rather have tomorrow Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, or Zach Taylor? Point is, I'm not asking you to name the answer to all those three, but you get the point I'm making here is that who are these new age coaches and what have they done?
No, I get what you're saying. Like I said, I think most of the teams should be looking at Pete Carroll, but again, if you're following the trend of the NFL, winning, like the successful winning, sorry, let me try to speak here. The successful path to winning.
That was a Freudian slip there, Casey.
That was.
To winning NFL games is going younger. You just look at Houston, DeMeco Ryans. Zach Taylor is an example of this. Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan. The list goes on of young coaches that are being just very successful. Mike McDaniels is another guy. I'm not saying that Pete Carroll isn't as good as those guys, but the NFL needs to learn to adapt quickly. And with guys like Pete Carroll, guys like Bill Belichick, I feel like they take a little time to adapt. and they aren't as quick to the times. So that's my only hesitation with those guys. And also the fact that Pete Carroll, if he's going to be coaching, it's probably not going to be for very long. They probably want a guy that, if they get a guy, will be a long-term solution.
Sure.
Same thing with Belichick. They're going to want a guy that can be there for a while. And to me, it sounds like Belichick only wants to break the winning record and then get out. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't know that. I don't know what his desires are, but
yeah, I don't know how much ego Bill Belichick has, so that seems like an ego thing. But I'm not saying you're wrong. Listen, if you want a take here, if you're asking me,
Yep.
if I'd rather have Pete Carroll or Bill Belichick coach my team next year, I wouldn't even think twice. I'd prefer Pete Carroll. I think Pete Carroll has shown more of an ability to adapt to the current age of the NFL. And I get what you're saying about what have these young guys done as opposed to the tenure. Well, if
and I don't know how much I did. And I'm just going to say I want to qualify something here for a second. When I'm talking about young guys, I'm talking about guys that have been hired the last 2-3 years. I mean, McVay's still the youngest coach in the league, but he's been around for a while.
Right.
Kyle Shanahan's a young man, but he's been around for a while. I don't look at those guys as the new age guy. I'm looking at the last just couple of years, the McDaniels, the ZAC Taylor.
Well, McDaniel's been around for a while.
How long has he been a head coach?
But he's been a head coach not for 2 years, but like.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about within the last 2 or 3 years, young guys that have been given head coaching jobs.
Well,
Who's standing out?
Well, the reason that they're doing that is because of the success of Sean McVay and
I
Kyle
know.
Shanahan when they got those young positions. Listen, I think Bill Belichick is the best coach the NFL has ever seen. That being said, I've had this take for a while now, it feels like the game has gone past him. I would even go a step further than that. I'd rather have ZAC Taylor be the head coach over Bill Belichick. And you guys might think I'm absolutely crazy for saying that. And I understand why you would think that's crazy for saying that. But, like, I haven't seen Bill Belichick succeed without Tom Brady.
Can I ask you something?
Okay, but can I ask you this? What has Zach Taylor done without Joe Burrow? And don't tell me about. Don't tell me. Hang on. Because we'll be very careful.
Like you're using very good
be
logic
very,
to defeat my
very
take.
careful in what you're about to say, because there was one season that Brady got hurt and did not play the entire year, and some guy nobody ever heard of named Garoppolo comes walking in and wins a division title.
Matt Castle.
So, don't say, "Oh, what Zach Taylor did with Jake Browning." Don't throw that at me, because Belichick's done better than that. He got him to the playoffs.
How do you think Zach Taylor would do with Bailey Zappi every day?
Did you really say just a second ago
I did.
you would take Zach Taylor over Bill Belichick with Joe Burrow as the quarterback?
Correct.
Just like he had Brady.
Correct.
You would rather have Zach Taylor as your head coach than Bill Belichick.
Those were the words, and that exact order, that was the cadence I used when I said the take, and I stand by it.
Okay.
And the reason I seriously just think
I can't wait to clip this out.
that Bill Belichick.
No, I don't want any part of this.
I know, I'm going to have
no,
to.
because it makes me sound like I'm bad-mouthing Taylor.
No,
and
you're not bad-mouthing Taylor. You're
No,
not bad-mouthing Taylor. He's bad-mouthing Bill Belichick.
I think that Bill Belichick is as stubborn as he gets.
He went to the playoffs with Mac Jones.
Yeah. But listen, I just think that I think the game is past him. I think that whoever hires Bill Belichick, because he will get hired by someone, they will not succeed. I don't think Bill Belichick will succeed in this league wherever he goes. And you might call me crazy. We'll see how the tape unfolds in a couple of years. Would I rather have Pete Carroll than Zach Taylor? Yeah, probably, because I've seen Pete Carroll adapt to the times. I've seen Pete Carroll succeed in other ways. I've not seen that with Bill Belichick.
You're the person who says if you don't have a quarterback, you have nothing, correct?
Yeah.
So what does Bill Belichick have at quarterback? He's got two guys that can't play.
He's got a Pro Bowl quarterback.
He's
Mac
got
Jones.
two guys
Oh
that can't
my
play the
God.
position. He has two guys that can't play the position.
All right.
That's a bad
We're
take.
gonna